Welcome to another edition of Cambridge Inside Out. My name is Robert Winters.
And I'm Judy Nathans.
Today is January 26, 2016.
Right. I was almost going to say 15, but nope.
Yeah,
16.
don't worry, as long as you don't sign your checks that way.
Right. Thank you.
So,
Okay.
I think what we might do today for a good chunk of the time, just so usually we do back-to-back programs with the first one. Tonight we're going to do issues, things around town, but the second half, hopefully the resolution will be okay, but
Yes.
we're going to put on an old vintage tape from the original Cambridge Inside Out dating to 1992.
Unbelievable.
I apologize in advance if there's any problem with resolution, but that's the plan. And
But wait till they see the guest.
wait till they see the guest. So anyway, a few things around town, and let's remind about Randy in a minute.
Yes.
Here, but
Yes.
just since last night was a city council meeting, one of the things I was really hoping for, but was mildly disappointed, was the appointment of the city council subcommittees. They had gone from 17 committees down to 11 in the previous term. My understanding is they'll probably have about the same. They may redefine them a little bit, but it's always intriguing. Who's going to chair the ordinance committee? Who's going to chair government
That's a big
operations?
one. Right.
Yeah, there's some power ones, and other people may get stuck with this or that, but it matters.
Are they assigned to committees?
The mayor makes all of the appointments.
Really? Even the chair and the members? Or
Yes.
But anybody can join a committee, right? If they wanted to be on all the
No,
committees?
they cannot be
No?
on the committee. They can go to the meetings, but they will
Oh,
not
they
be
can't.
a
They don't have
member
any
of the
vote.
committee.
Okay, didn't know that.
So some are committees of 5, some are committees of 9. They're actually the finance committee and the ordinance committee are the
They're
two.
very popular.
They're the committees of the whole.
Yeah.
Actually,
Yeah.
so everybody's on them. So the only battle there is who's going to be the chair. But as I say, the housing committee I think is going to be important because they're continuing some of the work of the previous council.
Right.
So it's important. And I spoke with the mayor last night, and it is almost certain that everything will be squared away in time for this coming Monday meeting, which is on February 1st.
So does that mean that they make these decisions during the week?
I
Can
think
they do that legally?
they've been going back and forth
Okay.
ever since the inaugural.
I see.
Some councilors put in their preferences. Sometimes they get them, sometimes they don't.
Okay.
Sometimes there are multiple people battling, wanting to get control of an important committee.
So do they lobby for it? Or
Yeah,
what is-
oh yeah,
Really?
they're negotiating and
With the mayor?
with the mayor. Ultimately, it's with the mayor because the mayor is
Wow.
the appointing authority for council committees.
Interesting.
Everybody else is appointed by the city manager, but for council committees, it's the mayor as the chair. So that's
Interesting.
a big item.
So maybe next week there'll be more.
Right. Now, the reason why we're not going to be here for the second half
Right.
hour is because
Randy Mail, who has been the director of recycling for the city of Cambridge, almost 14 years, hard to believe, is leaving. And there is a kind of not a retirement party, she's not retiring,
Right.
but there is an event in her honor. So we are going to that as Robert, both of us were on the original Recycling Advisory Committee before combined with all these other committees. And so, yeah, we want to be there.
actually we were on the Recycling Advisory Committee before the tape that will be in the next half hour was recorded.
Really?
That was 1991.
Oh my goodness, you're right. You're
Yeah,
right, because it
yeah.
used to meet in the evenings,
Yeah.
and then there was a business, the Environmentally Desirable
the Committee
Practices
for
Committee,
Environmentally
right,
Desirable Practices.
which was commercial institution, and that's where Rob Gogan was on that, and a
Yes.
few other people. And then,
Yeah.
I guess in the interests of whatever, they combined the two.
Right, which actually is in a greater sense, that's
Yeah.
something I think that the city, never mind the city council committees, but
Right.
these various boards and commissions, there are some good arguments to be made for doing some
Overlap, yes.
consolidation. Not, let's be honest. There's not an infinite pool of excited, interesting, talented, qualified people to
Yeah.
serve on every board and
True.
commission.
Yeah.
Maybe there is, but they're not all applying.
They don't know about it partly,
Yeah.
but yeah.
It is
it's true,
sometimes
yeah.
better to do fewer things
Yes.
very well.
Than a lot of things that no one knows about.
Right.
That's true.
So I think that kind of matters.
So anyway, that's where we're going to go, but hopefully this will be the first of many old episodes of something really amazing.
It's been sort of an interesting trip down memory lane, looking at some of the original Cambridge Inside Out programs.
Did you want to talk about the evolution of that?
The program ran for 12 years from believe it was
89?
89 to 2001.
But it was part of the cable company.
Yeah,
I mean,
ran on Continental Cablevision.
Right.
May have even dated all
on
the way
their
back
local
to,
channel, not on, it wasn't public access.
wasn't on CCTV,
Right.
exactly. So, in some respects, I've certainly viewed what we do here as sort of like a revival.
Yes.
Trying to kind of do the important work of having a
Right.
kind of a really
Right.
hyper local, and we just used
Right.
that word a few minutes ago.
But that show was like you said, he wanted like the McLaughlin report, right?
Yeah, you're right. So,
Glenn Kuchar.
Glenn Kuchar, it was
Right.
really, but yeah, Glenn Kuchar was sort of at the heart of it, but the thing is, it was really 5 people who were regulars on the program. One thing coming up, I think everybody should, well, for those who really love boards and commissions for the city of Cambridge, there are now 4 of them looking for people. As of today, I didn't get time to post the latest one. The latest one is just hot off the press, is they're looking for somebody for the police review and advisory board.
Oh, okay.
Which is a pretty serious committee
Yeah.
with some regulatory oomph. So that one matters. I don't know what the deadline for that is, but I saw that today.
Where do they get the information? Do they go to
City
the
manager's office, and I will certainly be putting it up on the Civic Journal shortly.
Okay.
I just didn't have a chance to do it today.
rwinters.com
rwinters.com.
or Cambridge Civic Journal.
The deadline for the Envision Cambridge was extended
important.
through
Yeah.
next Monday, February 1st. I don't know. I have no idea how many people applied for it.
Can you go over quickly again why that, what that
Well, I mean,
purpose of that group
the
is?
Envision Cambridge really kind of is an outgrowth of the call for a
Master
plan,
Right.
which then people started calling the citywide plan, and I guess Envision Cambridge is a little more standard sexy.
So that's so these are people that would serve in an advisory capacity?
There's sort of, I think, a kind of an
Or a task
overall
force.
coordinating group, and then there
Okay.
are, well, at least the plan is to have
Yeah.
more specific ones for communication and outreach,
Okay.
one specific to the western burbs of Cambridge, the
Mm-hmm.
Alewife area, and there may be others. So if there's a lot of applicants for the overall committee, that probably will serve as a good pool to draw for the rest. Many of the hopes and concerns here were that the only people who were going to apply would be the usual suspects.
Right, yeah.
Which wouldn't be
Yeah.
great. I mean, I applied. I guess you could say
Did you? Oh, okay.
I'm a usual
You're
suspect.
definitely a usual suspect.
Yeah, but I've served on
Yeah.
the Central Square Advisory Committee
Sure.
and on some of these in the past, so I'd be a good choice.
Yeah.
But the thing is, there are a lot of other great choices, and the most important thing is this: as with any city board or commission, should not be uniform. It should be a good
Cross-section,
representation
yeah.
of the city. I mean, if you have whether it's 6 people or 12 people or 20 people, I think it's supposed to be about 20 people. I don't know if you can ever get 20 people to fully capture the snapshot
Yeah.
of the whole city,
Right.
but you want to do as best you can.
But who makes those decisions? Does
City
it?
manager is the appointing authority,
Oh.
usually with the advice and consent of, not consent, but the advice of the appropriate department that will be working with as staff to the
So
committee.
they could actually keep some places open if they don't feel it's diverse enough or representative enough? Or,
I don't think there's anything set in stone that says it has to be a fixed number. I think
Right.
they're aiming for 20. 20 was how many they had for the C2 committee, Central Square,
right.
and K2 committee, Kendall Square. And it seemed to be a pretty good number if you really wanted to get good representation. I think if you're only going to have 10 people, it starts to get tougher.
Yeah.
So anyway, that deadline is coming February 1st, so that makes 2 committees. The Cambridge Housing Authority deadline is this Friday, January 29th. If you've got any interest and expertise in public housing and related matters, Cambridge wants you. The Board of Zoning Appeals also has an opening, and the deadline for that is Friday, February 12th. So don't all send in your applications at once, or no, do send in your applications all at once. There are a few other things that maybe are worth noting. Some are really maybe a little too specific, but I'll just at least say them quick. We can maybe bring up some of the ones that are of some significance. For those of us who attend a fair amount of public meetings, one of the big changes in terms of getting information for the city of Cambridge was, and the city council specifically, but I think it'll extend to all public meetings, is something they refer to as the open
Meeting portal?
The open meeting
Should I go
portal.
to that? Should I try to
Yeah, why
open
don't we do
this?
that here? Actually, I think
Well,
we
let
can.
me just see if it shows up.
Yeah,
Okay.
there you go.
Can I
All
get
right.
a bigger view of
Yeah,
it?
so we're going to try and swipe our way into existence.
Zoom
All right,
in.
so if you scroll down a little bit, what you'll see down there is sort of the real action. Down at the bottom of the page here, what you'll see is, they give a lot of explanation because it's new, and they definitely are. Paul Creedon is definitely looking for feedback if people would like some things different. He was very responsive when I made some suggestions. So if you go further down on the page here, there's upcoming meetings, but if you go down a little further, so right there, okay, it's sort of overwriting itself a little bit, so okay, so we got to let Paul know about that. But in an ideal world, what you'd see, maybe because did you rescale it? Maybe it rescaled sort of in a problematic way.
All right, let me zoom out then.
Yeah, maybe do that here. That will do it. So again,
No.
sorry, nope, no change.
No
But anyway,
change.
in an ideal world, what you'll see for, and we'll have to just pretend you're seeing it there, for like the January 25th City Council meeting, there's actually links for, it says agenda packet, that's going to be like 300 pages big.
Oh,
it's
I
big.
see.
In fact,
Okay. Yeah.
there's sort of more of a synopsis, but the main link on the very, very left, actually maybe you can click that and maybe it'll go
On the very,
right,
very left.
yeah, the very, very left of, it's sort of muddled in there.
The agenda
But, yeah,
right there.
So what it will do is it'll opens up a page which
here we
actually
go.
gives you everything you really could possibly want to know about the particular public meeting. Now, the honest truth is that most city departments really aren't up to speed with getting all of these public notice or maintenance of meetings. You know, it's a little time consuming, but we're heading in the good direction, right? So this is, you know, basically this is just a hearing schedule right here, but it's actually one of 15 pages.
Well, it shows them all through
Yeah.
March, which is good if people,
Right. If you scroll down a little bit here, just to give a little bit of a sample for those who want to sort of try it out. So go past the
City
calendar,
council meetings,
and then when you get into the meat of so there was a reconsideration.
Oh, I see,
if
but
you go down a
it's
little
many
further-
paage Wow.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
the thing is that so it's now.
This is before there was any, this is just the agenda, right?
Yeah. So this is I think actually it's supposed to be annotated, but again.
But this is just yesterday, so they probably
Anyway,
didn't,
we're
yeah.
having a problem sort of getting the links to actually appear on these, what are these, Macintosh computers?
Well, what do you mean links? We already got the links.
Well, no, the thing is the text was all garbled.
Oh, just on that one
so it was
page.
all hard to see. But
Yeah,
anyway,
all right.
it has some promise. I think, I mean, I had some misgivings at first. I'm starting to think it's
Yeah.
actually pretty good.
Yeah,
So, you know, if you
but
want
you have to know what you're looking for.
You got to know a little bit what you're
Yeah.
looking for. So it's one of those things you have to practice a little
Right.
bit to sort of get
Okay.
there. A few other interesting things happened. You know, one of the things, you know, if you wanted to report a pothole or unshoveled sidewalks, there was this thing that was called iReport,
Okay,
right? And I've used it in the past for
All right.
reporting graffiti
Yeah.
and a few other things. So apparently, rather than building this in-house, which is what they had been doing for a while, they finally said, enough, and we're just going to go with an application that was created elsewhere.
okay.
I think more in conjunction with the City of Boston, but it's called Commonwealth Connect.
You want to go show that right
Yeah,
now?
well, we could go
Yeah,
to Commonwealth
I've got it
Connect
on
right
there.
here, and this is just the city announcement about it here. So, so if you want to, it'll actually map things as they come, where
View
pothole
map of the-
requests.
Wow.
Yeah, so unshoveled sidewalks and whatever. Actually, why don't you click on map of icy or snowy
Yeah, I wonder if they
street-
have anything there
request.
yet.
Yeah, so maybe if you
The
scroll
map
down,
below, yeah, let me
yeah,
see.
maybe that'll actually show the map. All right, so maybe not so up to speed
Right.
just yet, but
I see 4:30, oh, that's right around my neighborhood,
Yeah,
about 9
yeah.
hours ago.
Yeah,
Wow, it's
anyway,
kind of interesting.
yeah, so I've been, so there's, well, then none open because it says none open, 29 closed. Right.
What
But
is it? Okay, all
Right.
right.
So anyway, you know, really just wanted to
Yeah.
alert people to this. It's sort of
Yeah.
things are evolving. I think this will be good. I have to tell you, I get the reports every time somebody
Really?
says do the report, whatever. For some reason, I'm going to have to change my settings, but I get an email message alerting me to every unshoveled
Oh, you
sidewalk.
do? Even
every
before this
pothole.
happened?
Oh yeah, and it's like for some reason it's just exploded in the last day, so it's almost to the point of being funny.
That's funny, okay.
But on the other hand, you can see Vinnie Bass or Kathy Fuck
I
or
think
others
it's
that-
great, yeah.
They're going in there. You can actually see the people who I know from Public Works who are
Yeah.
actually addressing a lot of
Yeah.
them. So anyway, be mindful of that.
Okay,
For those who care about school committee matters, tonight, actually, it's 6 o'clock in 15
Oh, right.
minutes.
6
you
to
should
8, yeah.
race yourself over to CRLS, to the adults meeting room,
Right.
where the
Is that the
school-
cafeteria?
No,
I mean,
not anymore.
is that the, not the
It's-
cafeteria, but it's
it's-
called something caf. It's
Uh,
across from
well,
the
there used to-
theater, right?
There used to be the media cafeteria.
Right,
but
that's what it's called.
But
Okay.
now it's its own school committee meeting room, and it's right where
Okay.
the Family Information Center
Yeah.
is, to the left of the garage opening that dips down.
Okay, okay.
Yeah. Anyway, this will be the school committee budget subcommittee meeting tonight, 6 to 8 at the adult meeting room. So, if you know,
So it's not a regular school
no,
committee
they've
meeting?
been alternating regular school
Oh.
committee meeting and the budget. Around this time of year, the budget is like all important.
Oh, I see, so it takes up the whole meeting.
Yeah,
Okay.
and they actually had a meeting on a Saturday for the public. I don't know how many people came to it up
Huh.
at City Hall. You know, for people who are, you know, either, you know, want to make requests or
Right.
irate or just
Right.
wanted a day out on a Saturday. Who
Wow.
knows?
There's also another meeting tonight, look at that.
That's right. Now again,
7
for
o'clock.
the planning board meets 2 or 3 times per month. Generally on Tuesdays, it's starting at 7 p.m. And you know, whether it's hearings on zoning or whatever, but occasionally they have kind of business meetings where they deal with, for example, now there were some proposals over the last few years for some modifications for the rules involving the planning board. There were some suggestions like, if a person comes in with a zoning petition, they have to, not a zoning petition, a special permit application, they should meet with the neighbors in some sort of way. They never worked out a perfect
Oh.
way to do it, but that's probably for the best.
I mean, before they come in, they should meet with the neighbors?
Yeah, just to give some evidence of
see.
appropriate pre-meeting, so that
Okay.
you're not really surprising people with things. But there were also some other changes in the ways, the rules and the meeting procedures at the planning board. I was never particularly bothered with how they do business. I
Yeah.
think they've always conducted themselves.
So do they deal,
very
so
well.
they deal with the little requests as well as big things?
Yeah, the zoning, the planning board deals with, if somebody files a zoning petition, then they have to review it and give a report to the city council. The city council makes the decision.
Okay,
But part of the zoning allows for things called special permit applications.
which
So
they don't bother the city council about.
generally no, because the city council basically wrote the criteria. It's in the zoning code, and
I
now
see.
when somebody wants a special permit, you go to you apply to the planning board, and then the planning board will review it, and then they will either grant or not grant the special permit. Generally, if you meet the criteria, you get the special permit,
Okay.
but they're the body that pretty much has to adjudicate the
Okay,
process.
all right.
So that's kind of important.
That clarifies
And
stuff. All right.
actually, another thing, speaking of the planning board, one thing they do every year is the major universities and even the minor universities are required to submit what they call TownGown Reports.
Oh.
It has a lot of useful information about housing, these various schools housing their students, if they have any plans for the future that might impact the city
Yeah.
in many ways. And they're having their TownGown Reports on Tuesday, February 2nd, 7 o'clock at the Central Square Senior Center, featuring some of the biggies, MIT, Lesley University, and Harvard
Now,
University.
I can't go, but I think you should go, and I think you should.
I will likely go to that,
Yeah.
since I work for 2 of the 3.
Yes.
No, but I'm
Maybe you'll
interested.
you're going to be on your own next week unless you have a guest, but maybe you can do one of our other,
Possibly so.
those old shows. We'll see how they happen.
Yeah.
And you could introduce it and then
Very
head
much,
over there.
yeah.
Yeah.
Now, another thing that they did last year in the newly revitalized Cambridge Redevelopment Authority, which is quickly becoming one of the most interesting games in town, they did something, I guess it was a year ago, called the Forward Fund.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't know about it, actually.
Right, and the Forward Fund,
Oh, yeah, let me see if
we
I can
actually
get
maybe
that up
pull
here,
something
yeah.
on that. The Forward Fund basically provides
go.
small grants, right? Yeah, we'll actually might take a look at here. Small grants, I think this will probably kind of cycle through a few things.
Oh, I see.
For
Look at
things,
that.
you know,
Oh, the free libraries.
It could be
great,
amounts
yeah.
like $5,000, $10,000. They are very specific in terms of
Okay.
the types of things you can apply for. But individuals or I'm sure more organizations could apply for grants to do things. Because the former city councilor Minka Van Buzicum, I heard today she had actually applied for and received grants for putting up these little free libraries
right.
around the port
Right.
over the past year. So it's a pretty neat thing.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's you might be aware of that if that's something that floats your boat and you want to fund your project, as the caption says.
Yeah.
You might want to look into that. So I think that's
Yeah,
a kind of
that's very nice.
an interesting
Yeah.
little piece going on in town. Cambridge is a pretty fun place.
It does.
in
I
many
mean, we just
ways.
had the participatory budget ones, which are larger items. It reminds me of
That
that
tends
one.
to be
Yeah.
bigger. That's sort of
Yeah.
on the $500,000 scale.
Right.
Right.
Well, total, right.
Total.
Yeah.
Now we're sort of enjoying a rather temperate day today.
Yes, it's 51 degrees.
Is it 51 degrees?
Well, it was earlier. Probably not now.
Right, since my boiler at my house is on the verge of failing,
Oh.
please stay warm. Thank
Yeah.
you. I don't need
Oh,
this.
on the verge. I thought it failed.
No. It's just barely holding on.
How
I think,
old is it?
23 years old.
Okay.
I think it'll hold through the next few days, but we'll.
Well, yeah,
fingers
because then
crossed.
it's going to get cold, so you better.
Yes,
yeah.
yes. But anyway, the city has launched its new Snow Center website.
Oh, now that I didn't
Uh,
even know about.
And I think it's really more in recognition of all of the complication that happened last year,
Yeah.
where we had, so I guess this is it, follow the snow
Yeah.
conversation. So it's a sort of a central location
Look at
where
this.
you can
So much
report things.
Tweeting and everything. Huh?
Yeah, it's kind of, you get alerts, if there's a snow emergency pending, you can
Okay, so
find out
how
about
is
it.
this different than report icy unshoveled sidewalk?
I think it just funnels right through that. I
Okay,
think
so it's
I
connected to
think
the iReport
it'll
or
probably
the,
be
yeah.
connected that way.
All right,
But, it's,
fascinating.
Yeah.
And who's doing this? Is this DPW?
I think
or-
DPW is probably sort of the main
Okay.
thing, but it might also be done through the, sort of the manager's office, or for the,
Okay.
the
Yeah.
general information office with Lee Giannetti and Eni Tome. I'm not sure. But anyway, the city again is just trying to sort of make things
They're
interesting.
really into the social media thing. Yeah.
Yeah, they're getting there. I mean, I remember a few years ago when Bob Healy was manager, when people were saying, "Oh, we should be getting the city on Facebook," and he was very,
Oh,
I don't know about
I
that.
remember when Randy said she didn't
I was
want
skeptical.
the recycling, and then all of a sudden the DPW's on Facebook. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I think the real concern was that it
Sure.
would become more nuisance than
Yeah.
help.
Right.
And quite honestly, sometimes it is. I
Yeah.
mean, if you basically have somebody who's a little
Yeah.
jilted, wanting to report everybody he doesn't like, or
Yeah.
every little
Yeah.
speck of snow on every sidewalk,
I don't think that's happening.
I
too
don't
much.
think it's really happening.
It might with these new ones.
It might have with these new ones, right?
Right. Not
But-
on the Facebook.
Well, that was
right.
the concern. Is
Yeah,
that every
sure.
time there was something
Yeah.
posted on Twitter or Facebook,
Yeah.
it would be followed by a barrage.
But there's a moderator, isn't there?
I hope so.
Yeah.
There must be some form of moderation,
Sure.
because without that, it would be
Forget it.
It
Yeah.
would be
Right.
definitely a little
Okay.
ridiculous. So anyway, and I got the notification from the Election Commission. Let me just say this briefly here.
Yeah.
On the Election Commission, that the presidential primary for
Yes.
Massachusetts
We are
is-
having one, folks.
We are having
March
one.
1st.
We
I think
ain't- we
it's
ain't
among
Iowa.
many states. I think.
Right,
that day.
is that a big one?
Yes.
Yeah, so March 1st is Massachusetts' turn
Yes.
at doing the presidential primary. Later in the spring, there will have to be a special election for the
Oh,
Petrocelli
right. Open
seat. Open
right.
seat. So we'll have a special election. We'll have a primary and a special general election, probably in April or thereabouts. I don't know the dates just yet. So presumably everyone watching this program is happily registered to
Right.
vote. So
And
you
if
don't
you're
need-
not,
If you're not, but you can go to the Election Commission website, get all
or
the
if you
information
drive a
more.
car, apparently
Or have a
according
state
to
ID. I think.
something, you can register online. You can
can
try
register
if you
online.
have some kind of state ID or driver's license. That's a
Right.
new thing, which is great, but not everyone
Absolutely.
has cars. So
That's right.
February 10th is the last day to do
Yeah.
that. So, yeah.
So this was primarily, we're doing just sort of announcements of what's going
Right.
on around town.
Right,
I'll say a quick word here as
Yeah.
we're kind of winding down here.
right.
Last night's city council meeting was pleasantly short.
It was. I was watching from home and I said, what? It's over?
It's over. I think it was over within an
Like
hour.
6:30?
Yeah.
Maybe 6:40?
in that
Yeah.
in that range.
Yeah.
Now it's not that we all want to have short meetings. I mean, if there's something interesting happening,
Yeah.
then give it its due time. But there wasn't that much honestly on the agenda. And sometimes what happens, I've seen happen at least, is that
Yeah.
if it's a short agenda, it becomes
Yeah.
a license for the elected officials to wax
pontificate on
philosophical
something. I don't think they really
big
did.
speeches.
Yeah.
Maybe this is the advantage of a relatively new
Yes.
installment of the council, and
Right.
people
Maybe
are
they had
still
someplace to get to.
finding
Yeah.
their way out.
Right.
But everybody seemed to be pretty happy with ending earlier. Gave me an opportunity to sit down with the mayor for a while.
Yes.
I enjoyed that very much.
Yeah, we have to have her as a guest. at
Oh,
some point.
definitely,
Yeah.
definitely.
And before we run out of time, I watched it because I have cable TV, which a lot of people don't. But can you watch that online also?
Yes, you can. Actually, even on the
The
Civic
municipal
Journal.
channel.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know,
I
even
mean, as
I'm
it's
a- I'm a-
happening, not past.
As it's happening. yeah.
Okay.
And in fact, there's some new improvements they're looking to get. So, for example,
Okay.
it will happen soon, I believe. I hope I'm
Okay.
not getting this wrong. That
Okay.
as the meetings happen, and there'll be, if you watch it online or maybe even on TV, on one
No,
side,
no.
they'll actually have the item being discussed.
Oh.
And if there's
oh.
information, maybe if you're doing
Oh.
online, you might even be able to then click it and reference and bring up the appropriate documents.
Oh, that's interesting.
So
I
they're
don't,
trying hard.
not on TV, but I would assume that would be more online. But check
Right.
it out. I'm going to check
And
it out.
I'll also
yeah.
say, because once as part of this new open meeting portal,
Yeah.
they also have a little column for video. So after the meeting happens, it becomes immediately available.
That I saw. There's like an archive.
Yeah.
Yes.
And-
On the municipal. It was kind of hard to find it though
It is
on
a
the
little tricky,
city's
yeah.
webpage.
But they're going to set it
Yeah.
up, I think, in
Okay.
such a way that they're going to be sort of tagging things during the meeting.
All right.
So that then, when you're looking up after the fact for some particular item, you not only can you find the appropriate documents, but you can go
Oh,
click
wow.
and it'll go to the point in the meeting.
Oh my
where
goodness.
it
All
was
right. I'm going to
discussed.
check that out
All right.
at home this week.
So-
So now, before we
so-
run out of time, stay tuned for.
Stay tuned for a 1992 part one of a three-part interview with former House Speaker Tip O'Neill,
Right.
who was the guest on Cambridge Inside Out, and
Very
it-
important person in the country and in the Congress.
very, very much,
Yeah.
and a great little piece of history because it's Tip speaking as a Canterbridgian to
Yes.
Canterbridgian. So until
Enjoy.
next time, this has been
See you.
Cambridge Inside Out.
Good night.